So what's going on with house prices? It's a big country. It's very regional, all right? Very regional. And who really knows? It's a complex, dynamic system. But let's try to break down some things. We have the TREB report out. Looks like we understand what's going on in Ontario and British Columbia. So let's start breaking down these regions, okay? What's going on with house sales and house prices in these regions, okay? Overall, house prices in Canada are not plummeting. They're not rising either, with the exception of Alberta. They're not plummeting. Quebec is a little bit of upward movement, here's the thing. If you have the most perfect house in the most perfect street and people have been in the most perfect neighborhood in the most perfect city and people have been waiting for your 15 years for you to finally put it on the market, you're probably going to get a really good price, okay? Probably. I mean, if you are that ultimate property, sought after, everything. So we look at averages. We look at the median price. We look at the totality of a marketplace. So let's break it down. We got Alberta's the shining star. People move to Alberta. It's had the greatest growth of any province. It's had the greatest growth of any province in terms of new people coming to the province. Since the 1920s, okay? Forever. It's been massive. These numbers are massive. So naturally, house prices go up. They have also a fairly positive building construction community, pretty decent regulations that allow people to build quickly and not ridiculous development fees and not overly hard taxes. So it's a good environment. When it's growing, it's growing, and it's growing right now. Prices are solidly up and sales are robust. Quebec, steady. The thing about Quebec is its population does not grow. You've heard a certain number of complaints about too many refugees, but the truth is Quebec's population does not grow in aberrant ways like Alberta or BC or Ontario. It's kind of controlled. They limit the amount of new immigration into the province, but still, it's a dynamic city. They're great places to live. The prices are relatively much better than in Ontario and British Columbia. And people who live in Quebec. Quebecers love Quebec. They want to be there. They want to raise their families there, and they're buying homes. And it's a steady market. Not super highs, not super lows, but just a steady market. It doesn't have massive influx of people. Ontario and BC, we've seen the volatility. We've seen the reports have just come out this month for the April housing activities. Prices are pretty much stagnant, although there's a couple of worrisome areas, and sales activity in Ontario and British Columbia is down, particularly in the big regional markets like Vancouver and Toronto GTA. Sales activity for resale houses is down. Not substantially, not 26-year lows, but down. And interesting elements in both provinces of a buildup of inventory of listings. You got to have something to sell, right? I mean, if there's nothing to sell, if there's hardly any listings, then, well, I guess there's not going to be many sales. And we've sort of seen that stagnant listings, stagnant sales. 2023 was one of the worst sales years in British Columbia and Ontario for a quarter century. But picked up in January, February, March, slowing down again. May looks slow in BC and Ontario. So slow for sales. So, yeah, I know somebody pipes up and says, well, on my street, well, we don't care about your street. We care about whole provinces, okay? Now, an interesting factor, rise in inventory of listings seems to be concentrated within the condominium market, the high-rise condominium market, which is almost exclusively landlord and tenant. It's an investor market. It's people who bought the small units, which I often refer to as dog crate condos, and people give comments like, you're a son of a bitch, don't say that. But that's my phrase. I'm going to keep going with it. So very small condos, more listings, seem to be under some pricing pressure. So why is that? Look, there's a lot of reasons that people might want to unwind, if they're landlords, if they're investors who've bought these units to rent, there's a lot of reasons why people might want to unwind that transaction finally, why, it's no longer something I want to keep doing. First of all, landlord and tenant boards are horrible in both provinces. They're awful. They are, if something goes wrong with a tenant, I'm not saying landlords are perfect, because they're not, but if something goes wrong with a tenant, all hell breaks loose. It's really hard to manage it. It's tremendously frustrating. And landlords and investors hear about this and they say, I don't know whether I want to go. Maybe it's time to go. Also, there is the constant march of renewals. Everybody who gets a renewal who's a landlord, that renewal of their mortgage is higher. It's not less, it's higher than it was. And if they were in sort of a mildly negative, like they're just losing $50 a month, but hoping for condo price appreciation, all of a sudden they're losing $380 a month, and they just say, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's get out of this. So there's also a general feeling that the trend will not be infinite up. Okay, like the infinite up on condominium pricing, that ship looks like it's sailed, particularly in those two major metropolitan areas in Lower Mainland and in the GTA. It looks like it may have sailed. Like there's worries about, I don't think this condo price is going to go up forever. So when you combined all those factors, there's a more growing interest in selling those condos. Will it drastically impact the price? Probably not drastically, because nobody wants to lose money, and it's prices are sticky on the way down in real estate because it's an individual decision and people don't want to lose. But is it going down? Yeah, it looks like it's going a little down in the condo world.